everyone, Robert Peak here, but enough about me. I want to introduce you to Frida. This is an octopus ukulele, which is an inexpensive ukulele, but a reasonable, a decent one that you can see I've customized out in honor of the Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. Not only customized the way it looks though, but I've added a little something to it by way of a electronic output, an electric output. So this is a modification that you can do on an octopus ukulele, or in the States you can get a dolphin ukulele. Will set you back 26 quid, maybe 40 bucks, 30, 40 bucks. And unlike some of the others out there, the kind of Mahalos and some of those other ones, it's not a toy, it's an actual instrument. It actually makes an okay sound. And then you can get one of these, a piezo pickup. Right, a little diaphragm style pickup for almost nothing. I think this was like 3 quid, maybe 5 bucks. So for about 30 quid, $40, you can have your own electric blues ukulele. And I'm going to show you exactly how I made this. Pretty straightforward. So the first thing is obviously to pick up the pickup, as it were. Get one of these, get it sent over. This one I got on eBay. Came like this in a package, and as you can see, there's three parts. There's the actual diaphragm pickup itself, and this has a little bit of adhesive. You peel this off and you stick it on. It's got the jack, a 1/4-inch mono jack, and it is in between the jack and the pickup. There is a fancy word for it. It's a potentiometer. It's just a little volume knob, and then the actual plastic knob that just pressure fits onto there as well. So you want to untwist this and have a look. Usually they come, if they are pre-soldered together with wires, they come pretty long. So you'll see that this is quite long, going from the pot to the two other elements there. So what I did first thing is to unstring your instrument, right? Get the strings off, get them taped. I don't actually remove it from the bridge, but I just tape them back here. Then the next thing is to measure. I recommend a good old square ruler. Make sure you find the middle in kind of both directions, both the middle of the instrument and the middle from top to bottom there. Once you've found that, just from the middle, you just want an equivalent distance on both sides, right, between where you're going to put the volume knob and where you're going to put the jack. I recommend you set the jack on the lower bout a little bit back from middle, so that when it's resting on your knee, you don't have any problems if you rest it on your knee like this with the plug that's coming out of that getting in the way. Now you can get right angled plugs as well, but even with that, you want to set a little bit back. The next thing to do is to grab one of these, a drill. You're going to actually drill this thing. So a 6 millimeter for the pot, I believe, and an 8 millimeter. These are brad point drill bits. Brad point just means that they've got a little point there on the end. So when you mark your point of exactly where the midline is, where you want this to be, you push in the brad point a little bit, give it a little twizzle, and that will be your starting point for drilling. I actually like one of these. This is a little perpendicular leveling guide. You can just stick this on here, hold it nice and tight, put the drill bit through the appropriate size hole, and then what you're going to want to do is really want to let the drill do the work on this. You don't want to be pushing down too hard, because this is a laminate ukulele. When you think laminate, think fancy plywood. So it's several layers of thin wood that have come together. And if you push too hard, you're going to push one of those final laminate layers out. You're going to get some splintering. So take your time, go slow, and drill from the inside out. 2 holes that you need for the 2 bits here. Once you've done that, I found that they were ever so slightly too small, which is a good thing. You want that's better than too big. So I went ahead and just got a round file here and did a little bit of gentle round filing. Again, with laminate, you don't want to really push in or out too much, because you can cause splintering. A little bit of round filing got me to a nice tight fit. So obviously first I'm fitting from the outside in, just to make sure that fits before I put these down into the sound hole. And into the sound hole they went, but first what I did is I kind of got a sense of where I want the placement to be. So the placement of the actual pickup elements, I want just under the strings there. The reason for that is it is a nice good part where there's a lot of resonating going on, but also the strings kind of protect, in a way, the element under there. If I tap on one side or the other, it's going to create a tapping sound, but with the strings above that, it kind of actually protects the instrument from me tapping on it too much. And I'm not a huge strummer that's going to tap away at one side. There's also just not a lot of room on the other side of the bridge, and you don't want it right under the bridge. So that's about the placement. And then I checked the placement of the other two, and then what I did is I started actually winding up a bit of this material. So just winding up some of the cable that I didn't need, and just getting a sense of where all that's going to be placed and how much slack I'm going to have. Now, if you really want to do, an even better job than I did, at this stage, what you will do is you will get a soldering iron and you will go at this. You will desolder the contacts here, cut it to the right length, restrip the wires, resolder it on, and just get it to be a really nice tight fit. That's a great thing to do if you want to take the extra effort, but I'll show you how to do it. It's more sort of quick and dirty. Then what I did is I fished some string through and then tied up both sides and started fishing it back, and that didn't actually work so well. What I recommend instead is you literally just take the wires, drop it down in there, start dropping the wire down, and just do a little bit of a jiggling maneuver, and then off on the opposite side, start pulling that through. As soon as you've got any kind of grip, let's see if I've got needle nose pliers here. I do. So these guys came in super handy. I was able to just get a little tiny lip of this on the other side and start gently jiggling and get that right through. Obviously, you want to remove the little nuts here in the washers and get those ready to go. And then once you get it in, it's a simple job of just gently screwing it in until the threads have caught, and then screwing it all the way right in until it's nice and tight. Now, what about all that extra wire, you say? What do you do with that? Well, I'll tell you what I did. That's right there. So I just took it, I wound it up, and there was a fair bit of extra. What I literally duct taped to the inside of one of the sides here. Does that damp the sound a little bit? Yeah, probably it does. But again, the main resonating element we're picking up for, at least for the electrification here, is off of the top of this thing. So it still sounds, okay to me. Just coming, as an acoustic instrument. Again, it's a 26 quid laminate instrument. It's not like I've completely ruined a really fancy instrument. So I just duct taped that to the side there, and guess what? I'm good to go. Now, you do need to have a cable, right? So 1/4 inch mono to mono to connect to an amp if you choose to. So this is one I love. This is the one that you heard, which is an Orange Crush Mini. So it does a little bit of distortion, but in a kind of nice sort of bluesy kind of way, in a way. So that set me back about 40 quid. Here in the UK, you can probably get them for slightly less refurbished. It's a cute little portable unit. And then from there, to take it into my computer, I'm just using 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch cables, right? And going straight into the microphone jack of the computer. Now, if you don't have that option, you can get 1/8 inch to, in this case, an adapted 1/4 inch. So you get the 1/4 inch directly into this pickup. Now, this is a passive pickup, so it's not producing a whole lot of sound because it's not in itself being powered by anything. But once you plug it in, and then you can plug that 1/8 inch cable into your computer if you have an input, or into your phone if you have a pigtail adapter, or if your phone has a headphone jack that allows you to do an input. And what I've found is that actually it does produce enough volume that you can get a recording. You can get a recording in GarageBand, or there's a free piece of software called Audacity that I highly recommend. You can get a recording into there, and then you can boost the volume from there. You can normalize the volume, and then you can apply some very cool effects, compression and reverb, and EQing if you want, and of course distortion. So From there, you've basically got, an instrument that you can start recording from without all the challenges of having to mic an instrument or actually go and get a microphone. It's quick, it's easy, it's dirty, and it's a ton of fun, right? I didn't invest a lot in this, but already, for the price of 3 or 4 cups of coffee in a London cafe, I've got endless amounts of enjoyment out of this thing as it is. So whenever I feel like I want to wallow in some muddy waters, it's just right here to hand. I can grab it, plug it into the amp, and feed my need for the blues. So there you go, U2 with a little bit of outlay, a couple of simple tools you probably have already around the house, and one of these lovely little pickups can start to spread the good blues gospel on a mission from God.
We're on a mission from God.